Hello everyone, I'm Rafael Alvarez and this is Alvarez Metalworks. So today what we're doing is, it's kind of a tip. It's basically a tip to think outside of the box and reutilize some of the tools I have here in my shop. Let's give you a quick rundown on why I'm doing this and everything. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know I started building a roof rack for Project Pathfinder. That's my 1991 Nissan Pathfinder that I've been fixing up for years. I just kind of stopped working on it. The reason why I stopped working on it is because the plan was to have a bottom frame and then a top frame, but that top frame was going to sit within 2 inches of the bottom frame, which means I needed some small risers, and it's made out of 1-inch 16 gauge tubing. And what I was having a problem is coping or notching the tubing. Okay, I tried using a hole saw, wouldn't work. Okay, the reason why it wouldn't work is because I got a small little 2-inch piece of tubing that I've got to somehow clamp and hold in place while this hole saw is spinning around and trying to grab at it, and just simply from the torque of the drill press and whatnot, it just wasn't working. I was trying to grab a hold of the tube and throw it across the damn room. The other option is to try to use a chop saw, an abrasive chop saw. Sometimes people use that for notching tubing. The problem with that I was running into, and the reason why I don't like that, is when you use a chop saw, the blade itself naturally deflects. Okay, when you're cutting 45-degree angles on anything, it tries to twist on you like this. It doesn't stay vertical at a 90-degree angle, it starts to twist. Okay, when you're doing round tubing, it especially tries to do that. So I was having issues with it doing that, and then just getting my notches, 180 degrees from each other perfectly. It just wasn't working out too well. The other option was to use a paper template that you can, there's a lot of places online that you can just search for them, tell what type of tubing it is that you're trying to notch, what you're trying to put it to, and then you can print out these paper templates that you wrap around the tubing, and then use a Sharpie to mark what you need to cut off, what material needs to be removed. I was thinking about doing that, but I didn't like that idea simply because I'm not MIG welding this. I'm TIG welding it. And with TIG welding, you want those gaps to be as close as possible if you want your weld to look as good as possible. Now, the reason I'm building this roof rack is because Project Pathfinder originally had a roof rack that I built with one of those Harbor Freight 90 amp flux core welders. Made it out of scrap bed frames and some 1-inch tubing, square tubing, and it just simply looked like shit. Okay, it served its purpose. There were some people that actually liked the way it looked, but there's some people out there that have some bad taste. So with my truck having Alvarez Metalworks all over it, it was really important for me to not put that back on the truck. Okay, when I decided to brand up my vehicle with Alvarez Metalworks with my name, I needed to make sure that every piece of fabricated anything that's on that truck that is to the highest quality. So I wanted to build this roof rack and build it to the highest quality. And that's why I kind of stopped with the roof rack, because I wasn't able to do it the way I wanted to, so I'd rather just stop until I have the tools or the means to do it properly. So anyway, I got this 10-ton Harbor Freight hydraulic hole punch. This is something electricians use for punching holes in electrical boxes so they can put conduit together or run conduit into the box. I'm not sure how often people use that anymore, because a lot of the electrical boxes nowadays have little holes that you can punch out of it. But it's something that's still available. Harbor Freight sells it for ballpark 80 bucks. With your 20% coupon, do the math, it's cheaper. It's the cheapest one on the market. They sell stuff that is exactly the same thing on Amazon and eBay for literally like 300 bucks. It's the same thing. I guarantee you that it's the same company mass producing it in China. So if you're interested in this tool for regardless of what the means is, go to Harbor Freight, get it from Harbor Freight, save yourself some money. It's not the best quality thing on the market, but it does work, okay? Anyway, I had that. I had it for dimple dies that I don't own at the moment. but I plan on getting here soon. There's a company named Barbed Wire Off-Road that sells dimple dies that are set up for those punches specifically, and it uses that hydraulic press or hydraulic punch hole, whatever the hell you want to call it. Anyway, I have that. I'm going to use it to notch this tubing because I was sitting here last night thinking about design changes to the roof rack to get this thing finished and on the truck. And I thought, why not try that? That may work. And it did work. So sit tight. I'm going to switch over to working on this. I'm going to show you guys what it was capable of doing, the drawbacks to using it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the punch here set up. I've already done some test cuts, so I already know what this is going to do here. I'm going to set this up. I've got the smaller 1.115 die set. You just slide that one on and screw this on. There's a spacer that you could use if you need to. It's over there in the kit. That little silver thing right there. In this particular instance, we don't need it. So, you can see here I've already coped both sides of this. I'm going to do this side just to show you and this side just to show you. Square tubing works perfect in this, okay? Here we go. Let's get you zoomed in a little bit. You see how this has got the V-grooves in here? That's going to help line up everything perfectly, okay? Set that down in there, set it at an angle, tighten up your valve on the... Here, let me zoom back out. Tighten up your valve on the hydraulic pump, and then pump it up until it pops that little piece out. This is just 16 gauge tubing, so I think I need that spacer just because of the... Yep. Actually, you know what? I could just screw this on a little more. Sorry about that. Get this going. I just did this a little while ago, but I took it all apart, so there we go. So it's a little deformed because I had to pull it out of there, but that'll work just fine. Loosen this up. Shake out the chip. Flip this over 90 degrees, or 180 degrees, excuse me. Set it in there. Boom, done. So on the point you got a little deformation on there just because, you know, really you're not going to be coping it like that. But let me show you guys. Here's my roof rack for Project Pathfinder. Okay, so here's the square tubing on here. This is, I don't remember which side of this I cut first and second, so I'm just going to quickly put that on here and show you. But ultimately I want to show you this side. Okay, I did that earlier, and this is going to show you the best fitment that I can show you. Little bit of wiggle room. It's okay though. You want it to, you don't want it to be super snug. It does fit tight though. This is absolutely perfect for TIG welding. Okay, when you hold this here, it doesn't have like a tapered, flared out end here. See how that the edge of that tubing here is flat? That's what you want. You don't want this tapered to a knife point. If it does, what you end up wanting to do is grind it flat. The reason you do that is because when you weld this, you want the meat of the material on both of them to be welded, not the thin stuff at the end of the knife blade. You want the thick part so that you get full penetration and that your weld is stronger than the actual material is, okay? So that's as perfect as you're going to get. And for this tool being repurposed to do this as well as other things, I'm really happy with that. Let me show you the round tubing. I'm going to show you right off the bat. Round tubing doesn't work nearly as good. For this application, it will be fine though. If you look at this, it's flat spotted here at the bottom and here at the top. The reason why it's flat spotted is because when it's in that the die set, what's happening is it's not cutting here at the very peak of the tube. It's cutting here and here first. And because it's not cutting like a set of scissors would, because the two dies are not making contact yet, what it's doing is it's smashing. It's smashing it a little bit until it gets to the point where it's actually slicing it like it's properly supposed to. So in this application, it's got a little bit of a flat spot. For this roof rack though, that's going to be absolutely fine. Okay, the cope is plenty good. Okay, it's not too deep when you look at it right here. Let's zoom in here. Sorry about the video quality, I'm digital zooming. But you see here, again, we have that flat edge there. When we lay down our TIG weld, it's going to go right in that groove, and it's going to get us full penetration. It's going to be a very, very strong weld, and we're not going to have to worry about this pulling apart. So in this application, it'll be fine. The flat spotted areas, the weld will be built up in that area. And because this is only 1-inch tubing, 16 gauge, it's going to be perfectly fine. You probably won't even ever notice that it was, smashed a little bit. If you were working with heavier, bit larger tubing, let's say you're doing a roll cage and you're trying to do 1 3/4, 120 wall DOM tubing, this is probably not going to be your tool. It'd be worth a try if you already have the tool, but I highly doubt it's going to work. The reason being is because of that, the deformation that it's causing. You're also dealing with 1/8 wall versus 16 gauge, so it's a pretty substantial difference as far as what the press is going to have to do as far as notching it. If you were doing, let's say, some large size square tubing, whether it was 1/8, absolutely I'd give it a try. If you were mating the square tubing to round tubing like I was just doing. Okay? But then again, if you're using something large like that, you could always just use a barrel sander or something like that, or even just use a grinder to grind it out, because you'll probably be MIG welding it, and then any imperfections a MIG weld will cover right up. But for this smaller scale stuff, that tool works wonders. The reason why I didn't just go out and get a tubing coper or tubing notcher is because for this particular application, I'm welding basically from here to here. And I don't have this set up at the proper distance, but essentially it's a 2-inch gap. Okay? So the issue is that I'm cutting my tubing at 2 inches, actually a little over, and then I've got to clamp it in some sort of a vise so that I can use it in a typical tubing notcher, and it's just not working. I just don't have enough meat to grab a hold of, and with the torque and everything and of the hole saws, it wants to just kick it right out and throw it across the room. And that's actually why I stopped working on this roof rack, because I wanted to do it and I wanted to do it right, and I was thinking about sending out a whole length of this 1-inch 16 gauge tubing to have it cut down and somebody with a machine shop mill the ends out so that I can just have them make me a whole bunch of them if I decide to make any more of these roof racks in the future. But after some brainstorming last night, I realized, hey, I may have the tools to do this after all. So that's going to work. And I'm not sure. I may use a square tubing. I may use a round tubing. Time will only tell. That's a different video and a continuation of the roof rack project. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, I'm back. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys learned something from it. I know I'm a little long-winded, but Just wanted to come back and let you guys know the link's down in the description on where you can buy this product, okay? It's a Harbor Freight. The link will be down there. I'm not getting anything by linking to Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight doesn't sponsor me. It's just a handy little tool. I've had it for, I don't know, over a year now. I haven't used it really, but I know that I will use it. And here's an instance where I will use it. You just got to think a little creatively. You could use it for half moon cutouts and something. Whatever it is that you may need to punch a perfect hole in, this is going to be a good product for you. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Like always, subscribe, comment, like. Thank you for your support, and I'll be back with more videos here in the near future. Talk to you guys later.